Well, good afternoon. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Today, I'm pleased to be joined by our Chief of Police, Chief Dave Nisley, Colin Stoll, who is our Fire Rescue Chief, and Lifeguard Division Chief James Gartland. Thank you all for being here. Each of them will have the opportunity to give an update in just a second. I want to begin today by thanking San Diegans. Thank you for continuing to do the right thing. Our beaches will remain open. We will have an update on that, particularly looking ahead to the weekend. But thank you for doing, as I said, the right thing, doing the physical distancing, making sure you're not stopping. It's incredibly important as we continue to move through this together. Today I'm going to give a couple updates on my executive order, some additions to that. Second, a reminder of the weekend ahead. That it will be an important weekend for us out on our beaches. Third, an update on our Operation Shelter to Home at the Convention Center. And lastly, of course, an update on San Diegans that are helping people step up in this time of need. Topic one, my continuing executive orders. We're extending those, obviously. My executive order implements the measures that are in conjunction with our county to protect the public. Let's give you a few highlights on what it does. Part of that order talks about beaches remaining open on a limited basis. We are still in phase one. Also, neighborhood parks open and what the rules of the road are on those. You can go to all of this at sandiego.gov/coronavirus. Boating now with household members is now allowed, and starting tomorrow in San Diego, golf courses can reopen. But before they do, the operators must show that they can adhere to the county's proposed physical distancing standards. And so I know all of those plans are moving forward this afternoon. Also, looking forward to tomorrow, as you know, the face covering becomes mandatory. So when you leave your place, you must cover your face. These are very important rules to follow as we continue to do a good job and determine what steps come next. Speaking of next steps, of course, we're going to talk about our beaches. They remain open, a reminder on physical distancing. Those rules are in place for a reason. A reminder, you can be on the beach on the sand, you can run, you can walk, but no stopping, no sitting down or no lying down. In the ocean, you can swim, surf, paddleboard, and kayak. And in the bays, you can paddleboard and kayak and now boat. So where do we go from here? That decision is with all of us as we continue to comply with all of the public health mandates and those that I've just talked about. I will reinforce again by saying thank you, San Diegans, for doing the right thing on our beaches. You've been a great example not only for California, but the rest of the nation. Our continued success is in your hands. This weekend is going to be an important weekend for us to do the right thing. Our lifeguard chief, fire chief, and police chief will talk about doing the right thing and continuing that momentum, but it's all positive. And I want to say, particularly to folks that have been out there, whether you've been walking, the surfers that have been out there making sure it's been 6 feet, everybody's taking it seriously, and you should. And we're going to continue to do that. Again, San Diego was setting a great example. I'm proud of you. Let's keep it up. With that, I will get right to our public safety chiefs, and I will begin with Chief of Police Dave Nisley. Chief?
Thank you, sir. As the mayor was saying, and first I really want to say thank you to San Diegans because it has been great. We have seen the physical distancing. We have seen the folks following the rules, and that's why we remain open. And again, it's not the time to become complacent. We want to continue our beaches open. So again, I'm going to reiterate, you can access the beach to surf, to swim, to kayak, to paddleboard. You can run along the shoreline, but I want to make certain that everybody understands our piers, our boardwalks, and our parking lots remain closed. Again, all this cooperation allows us to move to phase two, which I know everybody wants. So I want to say kudos to you for doing a great job that allows us to remain open. I ask you not to become complacent. As we move through this weekend, I need everybody to continue to follow those rules. Really, really want to kind of hamper on this physical distancing, the no gatherings. We saw some people stopping on the beach. There is no stopping on the beach. There's no sitting on the beach. I need you to keep moving, the no social gathering. And another area I just want to ask help from the community is on Sunset Cliffs. I understand with the red tide, it's very nice to see it sunset and beyond, but folks, we're getting a little bit too many people there, so I'm asking you to stay away from the area of Sunset Cliffs. You will see quite a robust police presence there tonight and throughout the weekend, asking people to make certain we are getting that physical distancing. Again, folks, I'm asking for teamwork, cooperation, and collaboration. Together as one community, we move on to phase 2, and we get back to our normal lives, and that's the end goal. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Next up, Chief Colin Stoll for Fire Rescue Department. Chief, thank you and all the members of Fire Rescue for the great job that you're doing. This will be a busy weekend for you as well. Come on up and please share a few words.
Well, thank you, Mayor. And I first want to echo the big thank you to San Diegans for all you've done in your cooperation so far. I want to make the same request that I have made before. Help us, help you. Our first responders have seen an extremely low number of exposures and sick employees, and that in part is due to your cooperation and adherence to the rules. By following the strict rules during this phase 1 of reopening of our parks and beaches, maintaining social distancing and adhering to the stay-at-home orders for non-essential activities, you are limiting the community spread of the virus, and you are keeping our first responders healthy so they can continue to serve the communities and so that we can get on to phase 2. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Last and certainly not least, our Lifeguard Chief, James Gartland. Chief Gartland, thank you for doing everything you're doing. As you know, the plan on the beaches was developed by our lifeguards, not only in the city of San Diego, but lifeguards from all of our other coastal cities. It's a plan designed to keep not only the public safe, but our first responders safe too, our lifeguards that are out there. So doing the right thing helps them out as well. Chief Gartland, if you could give us an update on the weekend as well, please.
Thank you, Mayor Faulconer. Thank you, San Diego. We have been met with compliance and cooperation. The opening has been very good. People continue to move on the beach. They're not sitting. They're not stopping. So now we've opened it to boating. So starting tomorrow, you'll see South Shore's boat launch opened up for boating. Mission Bay will be open for boating tomorrow. We need people to wear facial coverings. We need people to socially distance. Everything is going really well, but this is a big weekend. This is a huge weekend. We need cooperation. We need your continued compliance, and we need you to help us ensure that our beaches can stay open. Please do not stop on the beach. You can walk, you can run, and you can swim, and you can surf. The stay-at-home order is still in place. You need to come to the beach, get your recreation, get your exercise, and then head back home. But thank you for, at this point, we're doing wonderful. We just need to continue that through the weekend and stay off the boardwalk. Thank you very much for your compliance.
Thank you, Chief, and to all of our public safety officials and men and women out there, thank you for what you're doing. All the public, if you see them out there this weekend, why don't you say thank you. Thank you for what they're doing to keep all of us safe. My next topic, an update on our shelter to home at the convention center. Things continue to run pretty smoothly there. We now have over 1,100 folks inside the convention center, which means that more people are coming in. That's what we want. Our outreach teams are doing a great job in offering that safe, clean, sanitary environment that exists inside the convention center. And as we've talked about on numerous updates, it's more than just that. It's the opportunity to connect them with services and to get that place of their own, to move into that apartment. We're making progress, keeping everybody safe. Again, to all of our providers, Alpha Project, VVSD, Father Joe's, thank you. You are truly changing lives. And to see the increase that's coming in means that people are off the street. And the exits now into permanent supportive housing are going to really start to ramp up. It's exactly how we want it. And finally, before I get to your questions, our continued efforts to highlight San Diegans that are doing a great job and helping those in need. Today, I'd like to share a brief story on one business owner who is stepping up to help our folks on the front lines. Steve is the founder of one of the household names in Ocean Beach, the OB Noodle House and Screwball Whiskey. Typically, Steve and his team use the distillery to make their iconic peanut butter whiskey. But obviously, as our world has changed, Steve knew that he had the tools to help out. His team immediately jumped into action to donate 5,000 care packages to hospitality staff, to hospitality staff that's out of work because of COVID-19. But he then took it a step further, and he pivoted Screwball's production from whiskey to hand sanitizer. And so far, they've donated more than 20,000 bottles of hand sanitizer to local businesses, first responders, and hospitals. And he used his existing distribution network to ship the hand sanitizer to doctors and nurses on the Northeast as things have picked up there. Just this week, Steve, thank you. You donated nearly 500 bottles of hand sanitizer to our firefighters and our police officers in San Diego, with another 500 coming later this week. So, Steve, a little free plug here for your donation. Thank you. Thank you for stepping up and doing your part to protect those who are protecting us. If you see a San Diegan stepping up, share it with us and use the hashtag San Diego Steps Up. I will end where I began this afternoon by thanking San Diegans for your continued compliance by doing the right thing on the beach. I'm proud of you. We're going to keep it up as we move into phase 2 eventually. And with that, I will pause for any questions from members of the media.
The first question today comes from Matt Hoffman with KPBS.
Hello, Matt.
Thank you, Mayor. We really appreciate your time. We understand that yesterday somebody from the state told you that beaches statewide would be closing, but the governor said today that the plan all along was always just for Orange County. What happened between the time that they told you, because it wasn't just you that they've told other cities say too, to prepare for closures? Do you think that you and other politicians were able to change his mind, or maybe you guys misread that message?
Well, look, I mean, we got contacted last night by contacts from the Natural Resources Department saying that was going to be closed to all beaches. But I'm glad that course was reversed. And I think it reemphasizes, again, that San Diego is doing the right thing. I appreciate the governor today said San Diego is doing an outstanding job. I agree with him, and I thank him. And again, our plan that we have put in place, I think, demonstrates that it was a plan developed by public safety professionals, approved by our county public health professionals, and supported bipartisan by coastal city mayors up and down. We have one consistent policy. That's a great example. I think that's a great example not only for California, but the rest of the country. And so it's important why we're reminding San Diegans here today to do the right thing. We want to keep rewarding folks for doing the right thing. And again, I'm proud of the plan. I'm proud that it works. And I think that'll set us up for future success.
And then just a quick follow-up. So do you think that the governor backpedaled, that his original plan was to close all state beaches, or at least that's what they told you?
Well, look, we got contacted, as I said last night, from somebody from the Natural Resources Department in the administration. But look, I'm glad that that decision was changed because I think, again, it shows folks can work together. It shows we can be smart about local plans that are working. We have a plan that works in San Diego. And it's not just me saying that. I think you've seen it all today from folks throughout the beach who have said, hey, we've been doing the right thing. And you have been. And so that's important as we show, I think, the rest of the state and the rest of the country that we know how to do it right. Again, it's going to be really important that we do it right this weekend, and that will be all of our focus.
Thank you.
And the next question comes from Guillermo Mendez with Univision.
Hello, Guillermo.
Starting tomorrow, May 1st, San Diego County residents are required to use face coverings when they are out. How will enforcement look like in the city, and what do residents face for noncompliance?
Yeah, I'll have our Chief Nislite answer that question, but it is a reminder to wear that face mask out in public. Again, these are all the protections and the precautions that allow us to move to other phases. We talked a lot about the beach phase today, but increasingly you're going to hear about the phases that we're going to be suggesting in San Diego County to reopen up our economy. We're doing a lot of work with our county Board of Supervisors. The task force that we've put together, our city and our county are working remarkably well. So that is now a county-wide policy for face masks outside in public. It's important that we adhere to that policy. And I will turn it over to Chief Nisleit to just give a couple comments as well.
Yeah, thank you for the question. So the direction the staff has from the San Diego Police Department is one of education and asking for compliance. So really what we're asking for, just like we've always been asking for, is if you go in public, we want you to wear a face covering. And it's to not only protect yourself, but it's also to stop the spread of this virus. And so you might be contacted, or you will be contacted if an officer sees you and you're in public without a facial covering. An officer will contact you, ask you to put it on, he'll give you the education of why it's required based on the public health order, and ask you to do that. So again, it's all about cooperation, so that's what we want.
I believe that concludes our questions for today. Again, thank you, San Diegans, and look forward to tomorrow's update. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. The voice came over there. I know.